Well, good evening. It's October 18th, 2021. This is RPOS Execution Excellence Quick Tip number 10. Before I get started on that, I just want to say I'm newly back here in the RPOS/MCR offices after a truly wonderful week returning to the iron out on the road with Chris Postle of Progressive Plan, supporting the practical management for plant turnarounds knowledge base. And that got me thinking. So before I get into the actual quick tip, I've created this new hashtag generational knowledge. And I'll give Chris some credit for this. He uses a term that very similar to this one, and he uses it a lot, that got me thinking this way. And it's really, well, for myself, it is really exactly what I want to be doing with Ryer Process Operations Specialists, is the preservation of generational knowledge. And I feel quite confident speaking on behalf of several of the other less young members of the community of practice. That's a lot of what their drive is too. So, we've done our time out on the iron. We could supposedly, theoretically, take our pensions and drift off to pasture, but some people just aren't built that way. And for me, I understand I cannot put an end to the cyclical amnesia cycles that afflicts my industry in a holistic way, but I'm certainly going to make a really good attempt to stop the amnesia when it comes to the knowledge of how to execute brownfield projects with excellence. There's no reason for people to keep relearning this every 10 years. It's so well understood at this point that what we really need to do is just make sure we're keeping it on the table. So today's quick tip, not to get way down the rabbit hole, I just want to talk about the 9 different groups that you as a turnaround manager and a turnaround team will absolutely require participation from. You will require them to have responsibilities, accountabilities, and deliverables to your team. We're just going to quickly flip through them. Okay? First, of course, the operations team. I can't imagine anybody's even going to question why I put that one in there. And then the plant maintenance team. It's all making sense so far. Everybody's following me. That's good. Engineering. The best reason for engineering to be involved is to make sure the rest of these people don't head off down a garden path that engineering doesn't really like. QA and integrity. Of course we want them at the table. The actual real work of the turnaround, the reason we took the plant down in the first place, so not the OPEX, not the CAPEX, the real work of the turnaround, it's actually integrity's work. So of course they have to be at the table. Administration and finance. I think everybody secons somebody from administration and finance to their turnaround teams, but it seems to be common that that person is just attending meetings and just reporting back to the team, and that's not there. They have accountabilities, they have responsibilities, and they have deliverables. And the most important deliverable of the finance team, as far as the turnaround manager's perspective, is the training, so that people are submitting their documentation to finance in the way that makes finance happy. If there is a big crisis in finance in the middle of execution, that is 99% sure that finance was not a deep enough participant early in the process. Procurement, same thing. The challenges of procurement in a turnaround are not really even related to the day-to-day challenges. Got to have somebody on the team, got to have specific planning. The work management team, yes, the turnaround team will use specific turnaround technical planners and will most likely use very specific dynamic scheduling techniques for all that part. But everything in the WBS belongs to the existing work management team. So for the same reasons where we want to do our work so that we mesh directly into the existing finance team's way of doing business, we want to be able to mesh directly into the existing work management way of doing business too. What are your revision codes? What do you need us to do? Is there any special quirks that you built into this? we don't ever want to be, we don't ever intend to be clashing with any of the other teams on a facility. And the main reason for clashes is lack of participation and support from the other teams. HSE and security, usually I haven't had a lot of trouble, nowadays, say for the last 25 years, most people understand that HSE will be a member of the team. But does everybody understand that HSE has substantial, probably second to operations, close with integrity, substantial deliverables and commitments to the turnaround team? So all of that part is made a whole bunch easier if we go back to quick tip number 3, where we understood that our turnaround process is a continuous, never-ending process. So once we understand that, and then we build this format like this, what I'm going through very quickly here, and it does sound like a lot of work, and I'm not going through it quickly to make it sound like less work. I'm going through it quickly because this is a quick tip. Yes, it's a lot of work, but it's most of the work the first time. Hopefully your record keeping's that good. After that, even as the names and addresses change here, the actual process for supporting the turnaround process will be recyclable. Okay, now, and finally, let's take a look at the turnaround supervision challenges that we're faced. So you might remember in quick tip number 8, we talked about how, given the very tight restrictions of how a turnaround has to be executed, turnaround management is in fact a hierarchical management process. That is the best approach to the process, let's say. In order to get there, you're going to need to understand how much turnaround supervision you're going to need, but it's probable that you will have to augment on-site supervision substantially. We do need, somebody from supervision. Anybody from supervision that's going to be a part of the turnaround should be on the team. If the facility has supervisors that are going to become somewhat freed up during the execution period, we can bring them right into the team. When we have an understanding of what our supervisory capacity is, then we can also develop our understanding of what we're going to have to bring in terms of consultants and contractors in order to adequately cover the supervisory demands of a modern turnaround being executed with excellence. And it's not ever going to be a self-directed team's flatline management challenge that gets us there. So have a really good day, and I'm happy to be back in the office, but oh my God, did it feel good to be back out in the real world.